You step through the sliding glass doors of a world-class casino. The temperature drops to a perfect 68 degrees. The scent of expensive vanilla fills the air, and 1,000 tiny lights dance in your peripheral vision. You have $100 in your pocket and a feeling that tonight is the night. You scan the floor, looking for that one machine, the one that feels ready. But as you reach for the spin button, an ex-casino floor manager is watching you from the catwalks, shaking his head. He knows something you don't. He knows that the machine you just picked hasn't paid out a significant jackpot in 3 years, and by design, it probably never will. Most players think the house edge is a vague mathematical ghost, but in reality, it's built into the very hardware of specific cabinets. Today, we are pulling back the velvet curtain. Ivy sat down with 3 former slot technicians to reveal the exact machines that are designed to eat your bankroll without mercy. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which flashing lights to ignore. 1. The architect's secret. Why choice is an illusion. When you walk into a casino, you think you're in a playground. In reality, you're in a highly engineered maze where every turn is calculated. This explores the layout of loss. Ex-workers explain that casinos don't just place machines randomly. They use heat maps to track player movement. The machines that never pay are often the ones placed in areas where you feel the most comfortable, near the bars, the restrooms, or the lounge seating. These are the holding zones. The goal here isn't to give you a win. It's to keep you occupied while your friends gamble elsewhere. I'll share a story from a former floor supervisor who watched a woman play a holding zone machine for 6 hours straight, winning dozens of bonuses that were actually worth less than her original bet. We'll break down the concept of RTP, return to player, and why a 90% RTP can still mean your wallet hits zero in record time. It's the first step in realizing that the most beautiful machines are often the most dangerous. But here's the part most players never realize. The height of the machine actually matters more than the color. 2. The Hollywood tax, the branded machine trap. Have you ever noticed that the loudest machines feature your favorite movies or TV shows? Whether it's The Avengers, Wheel of Fortune, or Game of Thrones, these branded slots are the ultimate sucker bets. Ex-casino workers reveal that these machines come with a royalty tax. The casino had to pay millions to use those characters and clips, and they aren't going to eat that cost. You are. To compensate for the licensing fees, the RTP on branded machines is often set significantly lower than the generic 777-foot or fruit machines nearby. I once talked to a technician who confessed that the bonus rounds in these games are designed to be cinematic experiences that distract you from the fact that your credits are vanishing. They prioritize entertainment over payouts. If you're playing for the clips, you're paying for a movie ticket, not a jackpot. We'll look at the math behind these branded behemoths and why the flashier the animation, the thinner the payout. Pro player move. If you recognize the face on the machine from a movie poster, keep walking. Your favorite superhero is likely there to take your money. 3. The progressive black hole. The giant red numbers climbing into the millions are the ultimate siren song. Progressive slots promise life-changing wealth, but ex-workers call them bankroll killers. In this chapter, we dive into how progressives actually work. Every time someone spins, a tiny fraction of that bet feeds the giant jackpot. This sounds fair, but it means the base game, the spins you do 99% of the time, has a much lower hit frequency. You are essentially paying a lottery tax on every single pull. A former slot host told me about a player who spent 3 days trying to hit a must-hit buy progressive, only to realize the machine was programmed to stay cold until the very last possible dollar. We'll discuss why the big prize makes the small wins almost non-existent. Have you ever felt like you were due for a win just because the jackpot was high? That's the psychological hook they want you to swallow. I'll show you why the math says you're more likely to be struck by lightning twice than to trigger that top tier. But if you must play them, there's one specific rule you have to follow, or you're literally throwing money away. 4. The penny slot mirage. It's just a penny, you think. But the penny slot is the most profitable machine on the casino floor, and ex-workers want you to know why. This exposes the hidden volatility of low-denomination games. Because you can play hundreds of lines at once, a penny spin can easily cost you $5 or more. Technicians explain that penny machines are often programmed with the highest variance, meaning they have long, brutal droughts followed by tiny wins that don't cover the cost of the spin. We explore the losses disguised as wins, LDWs, phenomenon, where the machine plays celebratory music and flashes lights even though you bet $3.00 and won back $0.80. A former analyst explains how this trick triggers dopamine in your brain, making you feel like you're winning while your bankroll actually shrinks. I'll share an anecdote about a man who won 50 times in an hour but left the casino broke. It's a masterclass in psychological manipulation. Have you ever caught yourself smiling after a spin that actually cost you money? That's the mirage at work. We'll teach you how to read the bet per line math before you commit. 5. The airport and gas station death zones. If you've ever been tempted to pull a lever while waiting for your flight or grabbing a snack at a Nevada gas station, don't. Ex-casino workers call these death zone slots. Unlike a major resort that wants you to stay for 3 days, these locations know you're only there for 20 minutes. They have a captured audience, so they set their RTP to the legal minimum, sometimes as low as 75%. In this chapter, we'll compare the payout statistics of a Vegas Strip resort versus a convenience store slot. The difference is staggering. I'll recount a story of a traveler who hit a jackpot at an airport gate, only to find out the machine's maximum payout was capped at a fraction of what a casino machine would offer. We'll talk about tight versus loose programming and why these satellite machines are never, ever loose. It's the ultimate convenience fee. Would you pay $10 for a bottle of water? Of course not. So why play a machine that takes 25% of every dollar you bet? Pro player move. Treat non-casino slots like museum exhibits. Look, but don't touch. 6. The novelty trap. Wheels, fishing, and board games. From giant spinning wheels to digital fishing rods, novelty slots are popping up everywhere. Ex-workers reveal that these physical gimmicks are often used to hide very poor mathematical odds. The extra hardware, the physical wheels or levers on top, needs maintenance and space, which means the casino expects a higher return to justify the machine's existence. We'll look at the bonus trigger myth. Many players believe that if they pull the lever just right during a bonus, they can influence the outcome. A former game designer explains that the moment you hit spin, the result of the bonus is already determined by the RNG. The fishing rod or the wheel is just a glorified animation. I'll share a story of a pro player who thought he had a system for a specific wheel game, only to be shown the internal code that proved his physical effort was meaningless. Have you ever felt like you just missed the big slice on the wheel? That's called a near-miss programmed intent, and it's designed to keep you spinning. 7. Multi-line madness and disguised volatility. In the old days, you had one pay line. Now, you have 243, 1024, or even more. Ex-workers reveal that more lines usually mean more ways to lose slowly. This breaks down how multi-line slots thin out your winning potential. By spreading your bet across hundreds of lines, the machine ensures that most wins are actually small fractions of your total bet. Technicians call this the grind. We'll discuss the difference between high volatility, few wins, but big, and low volatility, many small wins. The machines that never pay out the big stuff are often the ones that keep you level for hours, slowly bleeding your credits until they're gone. I'll share a tip from a slot manager on how to spot a grinder machine just by looking at the pay table. If the top prize is only 100x your bet, that machine is designed to hold you, not pay you. Have you ever noticed how some machines seem to give you free spins every 5 minutes that result in almost nothing? That's the grind in action. 8. The entrance myth versus reality. You probably heard the old advice. Play the machines near the entrance because the casino wants people outside to see you winning. Ex-workers reveal that this is largely outdated. In the era of digital tracking, casinos now use weighted floor placement. While they might put a loose machine near a high-traffic walkway to create a sense of excitement, they often surround it with bankroll eaters to catch the overflow crowd. This explains the clustering strategy. I'll share a story from a floor mapper who explained why the most popular machines are often the ones with the worst odds. If there's a line to play a machine, the casino has no incentive to make it loose. We'll discuss the ghost town strategy, why the machines tucked away in quiet corners sometimes have better settings. Have you ever seen a machine that nobody is playing and thought it must be bad? Sometimes, that's exactly where the value is hiding. We show you how to look for the generic gems that the casino doesn't want to highlight. 9. The myth of the hot and cold machine. That machine is due. It's the most common phrase on the floor, and ex-workers say it's the quickest way to lose your shirt. This tackles the gambler's fallacy. Technicians explain the RNG, random number generator, and why the machine has no memory. It doesn't know it hasn't paid out in a week, and it doesn't care. I'll provide a behind-the-scenes look at the computer chips that run these games. We debunk the myth that warming up a machine or using a cold player S card changes anything. I'll share an anecdote about a technician who watched a man wait 2 hours for a specific seat, only for the machine to remain dead for another 6. We'll talk about why the near miss is a calculated psychological tool. Have you ever seen 2 sevens land and the third one stop just one notch away? That was in a miss. It was a programmed graphic intended to make you think you re-close. Pro player move. If you find yourself saying a machine is due, it's time to take a walk and reset your brain. 10. Multi-game consoles. The jack of all trades. Those machines that offer Keno, video poker, and slots all on one screen. Ex-workers call them the clutter traps. Because these consoles have to accommodate multiple game types, the pay tables are often normalized to favor the house across the board. Specifically, the slot games on these multi-game units often have lower RTPs than standalone slot cabinets. In this chapter, we'll explain the convenience penalty. I once saw a player switching between Keno and slots on the same machine, unaware that the slot portion was set to a tourist level of payout. We'll talk about video poker short pays and how to spot them. If you're playing a multi-game unit, you're likely giving up 2 to 3% of RTP just for the ability to switch games. Would you guess that the Game King machines are actually some of the most complex to beat? We'll teach you how to check the version info screen, if available, to see what you really up against. Pro player move. Pick one game and find a standalone cabinet dedicated to it. 11. High-density zones and the aisle of no return. Casinos love banks, rows of machines facing each other. Ex-workers reveal that the center machines in these high-density banks are often the tightest. Why? Because once you're seated in the middle of a row, you're less likely to get up and leave than if you were on the end. This explores ergonomic entrapment. We'll look at how chair comfort, screen angle, and even the volume of neighboring machines play into your decision to keep spinning. I'll share an insight from a former host who said they were trained to look for players in the center seats because they were the most likely to chase their losses. We'll discuss the end cap advantage, why the machines on the ends of aisles are sometimes, but not always, set slightly better to draw people into the row. Have you ever felt tucked in by a machine? That's by design. We'll teach you how to maintain your exit awareness, so you don't become a permanent fixture in the aisle of no return. 12. The ex-workers' red flag checklist. Before we wrap up, I am giving you the ultimate checklist from the people who used to fix these machines for a living. This is a rapid-fire breakdown of red flags that a machine is a payout dud. We'll cover the pride of placement. The most visible machine is rarely the best. The bonus-heavy pay table, if all the money is in the bonus. The base game will kill you, and the max bet requirement, machines that require huge bets to win the smallest prizes. I'll share a story from a technician who could tell a machine was tight just by the sound of the reels, literally. We'll discuss why old reliable machines, the ones that look a bit dated, are often the ones ex-workers play themselves because their math is simpler and more transparent. Have you ever noticed that ex-casino workers rarely play the newest games? There's a reason for that. Pro player move. If the rules screen is more than 3 pages long, the game is likely too complex to have a player-friendly edge. 13. The climax. The mindset shift. This is where everything changes. You now know which machines to avoid, but do you know how to play the ones you keep? This is about the smart player's philosophy. Ex-workers explain that the machines that never pay out are only half the problem. The other half is the player who doesn't know when they actually won. I'll share the rule of thirds for bankroll management. We'll talk about the stop loss versus the stop win. A former floor manager reveals the one thing that scares the casino more than a lucky player, a player with a plan. We'll transition from how do I win to how do I keep what I've won. This mindset shift is what separates the pro from the sucker. Are you ready to stop being the casino's favorite customer? We're going to build your final casino pro strategy right now. It's not about magic. It's about discipline and data. But before you go back to the floor, there is one final, vital truth you need to hear about the Players Club card. 14. The final reveal in responsible close. The last secret? The casino wants you to win just a little bit. They want you to have that win story so you come back and bring your friends. But as we've seen, the machines that never pay out the big ones are everywhere. Ex-workers conclude by reminding us that slots are, first and foremost, a form of entertainment. You're paying for the lights, the sounds, and the what-if feeling. This provides a final checklist. Avoid brands, watch the bet per line, and never play with money you need for rent. We'll touch on the player's card myth. It doesn't change the odds, but it does tell the casino exactly how to market to your weaknesses. Use it for the free buffet, but don't let it dictate your play. If you or someone you know is struggling to walk away, remember that the only way to truly beat a rigged machine is to stop playing it. We'll provide resources for responsible gaming and a final encouragement to play smart, stay safe, and keep the pro in your game. Thanks for joining us at Casino Pro. Now, go find those generic gems and play with your head, not just your heart.